How are you? ¿Cómo están todos? Hola, soy la super comadre Claudia de RadioCristalUSA.com and welcome to my show. We're recording today. It is Tuesday. We typically record on Tuesdays between 7 and 8. And then don't forget that the show repeats Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 10 o'clock in the morning and again at 10 o'clock at night. So I'm super excited to be here. And I always like to give you a little bit about what's going on with La Super Comadre Claudia. So lately, it's just back in school. I'm the school librarian. I'm loving this new gig where I am just inspiring kids to want to become readers and writers and authors, storytellers, illustrators, just putting their ideas down on paper, like literally, or typing it or dictating it, where I listen to their story and I type it, and then they're illustrating their own stories. One of the things that I noticed with coming back into the school year face to face is that kids are loving being with each other at the same time, kind of relearning how to be with each other, how to interact with one another, because we've been like this online talking to each other, through either some kind of app where we have to turn in work and listen to someone and not really interact. Now the kids are coming back, interacting, and it's an honor to be there in the library to see this development happen again and to listen to these stories, because these kids are amazing. They're coming in and sharing. They're coming in and we're creating an anthology online. We're going to put it on the district literature magazine online. The kids are creating their own newsletter. We have a reading buddy program. So my older students are helping the younger students who need that extra support, because we have been out of real school for about a year. So a lot of kids are having to catch up. And so it's just exciting to see how the kids are coming together and doing what's necessary for themselves and for their fellow, colleagues. I guess we call them colleagues, because I'm getting them used to what the working world is like. So I'm super excited. That's what's been going on with me. And I'm a mom. I got two girls. One's a teen, one's a preteen. A tween and a teen and a tween, yeah. Right? So one's 13, one's 12, and I'm right there smack dab in the middle of, just being there for them and not saying, oh, yes, I remember. It's not a big deal. You'll survive. I have to balance that because they have feelings and I have to validate what they're going through. And so I'm in the middle of that as well. And I'm loving every moment and every minute, because in a snap of the fingers, they're going to be grown and gone. And I, just loving every angst, every joy, every tear, every feeling that they're going through. I'm just kind of riding that roller coaster with them as well. So that's what's been going on with La Super Comadre. And now I'm here. We're at a location, and I have my new super compadre here by the name of Jorge Salazar. So let's welcome him. Woo! Hello. So I love where we're at, and I want you to start, first of all, with a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and just share who is Jorge Salazar for the audience that's tuning in and listening, not just here in Houston, but also worldwide.
Okay, well, I was born and raised here in Magnolia, in the neighborhood here, and I went to almost every elementary school in this neighborhood. We moved around a lot. Mm-hmm. This is in the late 70s, early 80s. So I'm very familiar with this area. So this is my roots. And eventually I was fortunate that, I had a good mother who raised us well and with good morals and pushed us to try really hard and work hard at everything we did. Mm-hmm. And to earn what we are keep, And so I was blessed that I could draw. I applied to HSPVA, mm-hmm. High School for Performing Visual Arts, and I was accepted for visual arts. And when you're in that type of setting, you're around a lot of individuals that think art or theater or music or whatever, but the goal is that they want to prosper. And so that helped me because, coming from the barrio, it's really hard to get out of here and, with parents that live paycheck to paycheck and, you see the struggles of life every day, one thing that taught me was sacrifice, learning how to sacrifice to get to the next level. Mm-hmm. So from there, I went to college. I got a full scholarship to Otis Parsons in LA. And I moved out there for about a year and a half. Then I didn't really like the curriculum there, so I moved to my second choice, which was also a full scholarship, to New York City. in
Nice.
Manhattan. Now that
Look
was
at that.
from one extreme
Woo!
to the other extreme.
From the West Coast,
Yes.
from the to the East Coast, but from the Third
That's
Coast,
right.
right?
That's right.
Is that what they call it here, Third
I
Coast?
guess for Gulf Coast.
The Gulf Coast, right? So,
So
so you, what an amazing journey, and hats off to moms, because like I said earlier, I was like, we're there for every tear, every challenge,
it's not easy.
every high, every low.
Yeah.
So
And
wow, amazing.
one of the things that I love to share my story is,
Mhm.
I don't advise you do this, but I didn't tell my mother that I was going off to college because being a Latino family,
Oh yes.
and being the eldest, and you're supposed to be the one kind of helping the family along, and so I kind of saw that pattern with other generations. I was like, you know what, I gotta break the pattern. So it wasn't 2 weeks before I went to college. I said, Mom, I'm sorry, I forged all your signatures, and I've got 5 scholarships, and I'm going to California. I've decided. She's like, what?
Wow.
No, I say, she couldn't bring the cinto out at that point.
But she couldn't bring the chancla on the cinto anymore because it's like wait, I should be mad, but wait, I gotta give you a chanclazo, but wait, you're going to college, but wait.
And but for me, leaving, I was excited. I was this is not that I'm out of leaving Shawshank, but I love my family, but it wasn't until I landed in LA that I felt this independence, this freedom, this it's like you get to start over, and it's such a great feeling to be able to rebuild again with the examples and what your family taught you, and it's like a fresh start. And no one knows you, nobody, and it was such a great experience. I really embraced that. And I think going back to when I was younger, and like I said, I went to every middle school. I'm sorry, every elementary school.
Now, why the moving around and going from place to place? How did that help you?
Well,
or did that hurt you?
It hurt at the time because you never really made stable friends.
Okay.
In that early stages of your life, you're really looking for stability. Or at least I was, but after a while, you kind of just become numb to it, and you're like, you know what? I'll meet new people. I'm sure I'm not going to meet them for long, but it's funny because I'll run into some of those people now, and we kind of, hey, didn't you? Yeah, and you kind of start over again. But that was interesting. But it also helped me to develop the skills of being able to talk to people. Become that social butterfly that people say I am, and not be talk. I can talk to anybody about anything, and so that really helped me develop those skill sets. Because when I went off to college, I wasn't shy, I wasn't scared, and to me, it was just something else that I could, embrace and help me grow in my career.
So now you're a dad. You got your own babies, and I'm there in the trenches with you. So what are the 3 main things that you are taking that maybe you can share with moms out there, with dads, with familias, or whoever's raising the kids? Because nowadays we do have families that include the tia, the tío, or and I can totally connect with the forging of the signatures. And leaving the house, and mom not being super excited about that, because I come from also a family where, like, you're not gonna leave the house unless you're married, or or in a coffin. I'm like, what? And vestida de blanco, or in a coffin. I'm like, oh, okay. So I remember too, like, singing in a band and not telling my parents, because they were like, you're not going to be singing in a band. ¿Qué vas a hacer en esas horas? And really late, and who's out there? Te va a pasar algo. Exactly. So I did it behind their back. So it's, I wanted to leave the house and live in the dorms, even right here at U of H. They're, oh, no, you're going to live here in the house. And I'm like, well, you're going to have to come home every night. Exactly. So I was like, kind of like you, but I didn't get a chance to go to college right away. But I won an internship to work at the Capitol in Austin, cool. 3 hours away. It wasn't until I was about to leave, I'm like, oh, by the way, I'm leaving next week to Austin. I'm going to come back. It's going to be 3 months. But you thought I was telling them that I was...
That you were going to die. That
yes.
You were going,
That I was dying. I was like not coming back. And I'm like, I'm not getting married. I'm coming back. I'm not dying. But talk about that. How important is that for especially Latino family, parents, moms, dads, whoever's raising kids these days, for those steps?
The examples that I had in my life, was my mother, My father was hardly ever around, so it's not that it's for me. It's a positive spin because my mother was such a strong woman, and she was able to teach us what a real man should be. You know, and one of the first things that I always preach is accountability.
Accountability.
Everyone should be accountable for their actions. And earn. And the second thing is to earn what you want.
Earn what you want. I like that.
You have to. If you want something, you have to go after it yourself. Um, I remember when I bought my first car. My mom said, "No, you can't afford it." It was an '83 Camaro. And
do you still have it?
No, I don't.
Because if you had that car right now, you'd be right here too in this location, which you're going to talk about later as to why it's so special with all the items in here.
But the story there was that I did what I wanted. My mom. Against what her advice was, and I failed. It's as long as you learn from your failures, I think that's a positive. She told me, you can't afford this car. Back then I worked at KFC on Telephone Road in 610. And, at $3.15 an hour, that's how much I made. And so anyway, my car note was $126 a month. And then insurance, it was, for back then, that was a lot.
It's mucho.
Needless to say, 6 months later, I had to turn the car back in because my mom said, yo no te voy a ayudar. Ese es tu problema. Eso es tu carro. Ese es tu loco. Regrésalo. Si no puedes, regrésalo. So, with my tail between my legs, I went back but you know what? It was a good lesson.
Yeah.
Because I never happened again. I said, you know what? I better be smarter with my money. And that's another thing. 3 is I try my hardest to teach my kids about financial stability.
Okay.
What you need to do to not have to live paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
And it all starts with sacrifice.
Okay.
More often than not, we all want everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But not everybody's willing to sacrifice, and it's hard. And it's hard to sacrifice, especially when you have a family, because you're not just sacrificing for yourself, but for them. So if you don't have any kids now, sacrifice everything you can to put yourself in a good position.
I like that. And I just wanted to pause real quick for those that are just listening in right now, because as you know, the show repeats every day from 10 o'clock in the morning and again at 10 o'clock at 10 in the morning, 10 at night. And we have Jorge Salazar. He is an amazing business owner. He's going to talk about that too. He's going to talk about where we're at and where we're sitting. And if you're just joining us, he is giving a little bit or a lot of it about who he is and how did he get to this point. And you just gave some nuggets. I always talk about everyone that comes on, pearls of wisdom. You have just given some amazing words of wisdom, pearls of wisdom, nuggets, whatever you want to call it, that are so essential. And I'm going to start with the last one, financial, teaching your kids about financial and tying that into sacrifice, because we do live in a society right now where everything comes from the touch of a button. Everybody wants to be the CEO overnight. Everybody wants to be running something overnight. And it takes what you said.
Everybody wants the latest and greatest.
Yeah, you want the latest and greatest. You said learn from your failures. You said if you want it, you have to earn it.
That's right.
And to go after it yourself. I love that 83 Camaro story.
Yeah. It's,
I already see your mom.
Yeah.
No, ni modo, regrésalo.
And that's a story that
I love it.
To this day, ¿te acuerdas?
I love it, ¿te acuerdas?
Always right.
You need a shirt that says that. ¿Te acuerdas?
Yeah, so, once I graduated, I came back home. I got married with my wife, Fatima, and we had 2 children, Ozzy and Daniela.
Oh, yes. Which I had a chance to meet. They're amazing.
Yes, thank you.
Amazing kids.
And so, we are, I'm not going to say we are strict, but we are to some extent. And my biggest fear is, making them understand that they have to earn their keep. So my son goes to the job sites and works demolition work and clean up, and he gets dirty. And I tell my guys, don't be easy on him because, and I tell them, I'm going to be harder on you than them, because if I'm easy on you, what do you think they're going to do?
True.
So, but to this day, one of my what I love about my son is he'll say, Dad, I want to get this thing. Can you give me some hours? So I love that, because he's now learning that, if you want something, he's got to earn it.
Work at it.
And then the rule in the house is everything you earn, you save 50%, and you can spend the other 50%.
Okay.
You can splurge. Go ahead and splurge. You're young, do it.
Yeah.
But you need to start saving.
Okay.
Same with my daughter. She's very smart. She's been a straight A student since kindergarten. and I'm very proud of her, and she's very good at what she everything that we any task that we give her, and she has her ways of earning in the house too. Nothing's free. Starting with something as simple as when we go to eat. If you're going to order something, you're going to eat it.
There you go. Yeah.
Otherwise, we're going to go back to chicken nuggets. And so
we're going to go back to KFC on telephone.
That's right.
And that's what's going to happen.
I drive by there all the time, and it's no longer there. Now it's a tortilla or something.
Oh my! Is that the Zacatecas?
I think so.
Which I passed by over here, and I'm like, I think I need to stop and get some real tortillas from that place.
So Anyway, when I graduated, came back home. I worked in New York. I graduated. I went to school, SVA, School of Visual Arts, for interior design, and but I gravitated. Once I graduated, I was gravitated more into architecture. So I learned all the architectural skills, construction documents, construction administration, architectural specifications. I mean, so I did everything a full-blown architect did, so except stamp drawings, and so that helped me a lot tremendously.
Okay.
So when I came back to Houston, I worked with a lot of firms here, and I really cut my teeth with several and learned. I was really good at construction documents, which is basically the instructions on how to build any design. So if any designer can sketch something up, I could build it in a set of documents that someone else could interpret to build.
Yes.
But over the years, it was. I loved the field, but it wasn't for me. I wanted more. I was fortunate that I worked for a client who owned a flooring company, construction company, and he really enjoyed my work and said, "Hey, come work for me." And so I took a leap of faith with him, and it went really well. And he really is, and along the way, I had a lot of people who's always helped me. It was just in me. You always want to run into those people in your life that are going to help you and learn from those people that want to teach you. Because in this day and age, no one's ever going to sit you down and say, "Hey, here's how you do this." You need to be proactive too. But embrace those people, and learn what you can and move on, because that's what you want to do, is always keep moving up the ladder of success,
Learn what I'm writing this down. Learn what you can and move on. And I need to tie it back to something. You said something earlier that said social butterfly. And the word that came to mind was networking.
Yes.
And I think that's such a very important skill that you learned, from having to have been in different schools.
That's correct.
And now I'm seeing how, how this has helped you in the, put yourself out there. You want to learn something, find the person that could, they're not going to come and look for you.
Correct.
You have to go out there and look for it.
So give you an example, guys. And this is for the young minds. When I graduated from school, and I'm in the setting of an architecture office, and I'm trying to learn, and you don't really want to go up to someone and say, "Hey, can you teach me this?" Because what are they going to say? I don't have time. So if someone was, let me see, designing a particular type of door, and so I would design my own door. Then I would go to them and say, "Hey, Mr. So-and-so, what do you think? I saw you were drawing this. What do you think of this?" At that point, you've engaged them, because now you've been proactive. People will tend to help you more if you're proactive and you show initiative. And so this is wrong. Do it like this, or why'd you do that? And now you're picking up all these little bits of information. And that's with anything you do in life. Being a mechanic, you want to learn how to do something. Well, take the steps to try to, do something, and then go to a mechanic and say, "Hey, I've been trying to do this. This is how I've been doing it. What do you think?" They're going to help you. Yeah. Now, I wish I had YouTube when I was in college, because now I still use YouTube. All of my employees, I always tell them, "Look, guys, we're going to go over a lot of things, and if you don't understand something, ask me. We can break it down, or go to YouTube.
Or YouTube it.
Exactly. One of the things I love about YouTube is that I never have a bad day, because if I do, I always have inspirational speakers that I can pop up on YouTube. If I'm stuck in traffic, that's one of my favorite things to do.
Yes.
I will pop up, someone that I enjoyed, Jordan Peterson, Tony Robbins, in the background, and or the stories on how celebrities became who they were. And one thing I tell my kids is, look at those stories. For example, I believe Sylvester Stallone was 31 when he shot Rocky. When he finally was able to shoot Rocky, the film, and be the star. And if you follow his story, he paid his dues, not just in his teens, but through his 20s. Yeah. And most successful actors were successful in the 30s.
Later.
It wasn't like, boom. It wasn't like, "Hey, I'm walking into the studio." No. So everything you do in life, it's got to be, it's going to be a struggle to get there, but it's got to be worth it. And if you love it,
Yeah.
it's going to be something that you're going to drudge through, but at the end, you
It's
want
all
that
worth
reward.
it. It's all worth it. And every opportunity is an opportunity to meet someone, a connection, a networking. I always share with my students and fellow teachers that I would, work with and say, you never know who's around you. Even if you're at a restaurant,
That's right.
even if you're in line to order something, or you're on a plane, deplaning and getting on another plane, who you're going to be walking into or walking with or listening. They might listen to you. They might hear something. You might listen to them. You might hear something and say, "Hey, you never know. You just gotta always watch because you never know."
It's funny you say that because it's so true.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in college, because I transferred over to New York, my scholarship was not for 3 years, but when my 3 years were up, I had to pay for my final studio class, which was like 9-10 grand, and I didn't have the money. And we had done a school funded event where we were trying to entice other students to come to our school. And I spoke so well about the school because it's a great school. And I went outside and there was a gentleman that was smoking, and we started talking, and he was asking me about the school and I told him how great the school was and this and that. Well, it was Mr. Rhodes, Silas Rhodes, who is the president of SBA.
What?
But you never really met this guy. I mean, he was in the background like Mr. Oz. And so what happened was we had this great conversation, and that was it.
Yeah.
And at the time, I didn't know who he was.
Yes.
And then when the issue came up that I couldn't afford my last 4 credits of college to graduate, I made it a point to go talk to him. And no, how you can't talk to him. He's too busy. And then, so I camped out in the building. I said, "Look, guys, I'm camping out, and I'm staying overnight as long as I have to talk to to Mr. Rhodes." Well, he came out. He's like, "Are you the gentleman?" I was there till I was there all day, and right around 11 o'clock, he's leaving the building.
Yeah.
He says, were you the guy who's camping out to talk to Mr. I said, "Yes, it's me." He goes, "Well, come on in, let's talk."
Oh.
And so he thought it was he didn't think it was serious.
Yeah.
And I explained to him what was going on. He set up a meeting with my department head, and he said, "You know what? We're going to waive the fee. Just graduate." I was one of the first in my family to graduate, so whenever I can, I try to pay it forward as well. Because it's something that I position myself, and it's not about winning every battle. Sometimes it's not about, it's about, and I hate to sound cliche, but when you help others, you almost feel guilty because you find enjoyment in that when it should really be for them. Yeah. But secretly, it's just in your heart. It fulfills you. It fills you. It brings you joy. It does. What you're doing reminds me of something that to whom much is given, much is expected. You're given so many opportunities, not really given, but they present themselves, and it's like almost like I'm ready. There's a pathway, there's a person, and it just makes that it's meant to be. And you reminded me a lot about different experiences I've had lately. I've actually had experienced my laptop being stolen at school, and I was not expecting anything. I network a lot. I make a lot of connections. I'm constantly bringing organizations together, support, help, turkey drives, COVID drives, whatever. I'm there to support because I love to do that. That's just part of me. I inherited that from my grandfather, probably. And I was just having a conversation over networking dinner, and the story, I was sharing. They're like, "What happened? We heard about it." I'm like, I just shared a little bit. They said, "Well, what kind of computer was it?" I go, "It was like an old MacBook Pro," but I'm not so much mad about the item. I was just kind of feeling all in my feels because I do so much for the kids, and I'm like, I can't believe someone from my school took it. That was what was hurting the most. Computers can get replaced. That's right. No problem. But then in my mind, I told the group, I said, "You know what? All I can do is just pray for them and say, you probably needed it more than me. And that's what brought me peace." Yeah. If they needed it because they needed to buy food, they needed it to make money for whatever need, I get it. Not right. Correct. But that's how I was able to sleep and move on and forgive without even knowing who it was. I forgive you. I don't know who it was, but I forgive you. And then all of a sudden, when I was at this networking dinner, I was explaining one of the persons there said, "Hey, don't we have like an extra laptop in our office that nobody's using?"
And I said, what are you talking about? What's your address? I'm like, what? Well, we got this MacBook Pro. It's kind of like the one it was stolen, and you do so much. Would you want to give it to you? I'm like, no. I'll pay you in payments. Give you a discount. No?
Yeah.
What's your address? We're going to mail it. Dude, I thought I was going to break down right there.
Wow.
And they said, story. You know what, dude? They told me, you do so much, and we've seen you, and this is just a gift.
That's awesome.
And I was like, you have no idea.
Yeah.
I do work on the side, and I had so many deadlines to fulfill, and I needed that. And people cross your paths for a reason, and I am so forever grateful for it. And it just helped me to continue doing the work that I do for others.
Yeah.
Besides the work I do for myself and my own kids and my school.
That's cool.
Now, am I going to take it back to school? No. Ay, lo tengo guardadito en la casa. Yeah, and if I have it with me, it's like on me the whole time. But that's it. But you never know. God has a amazing way of helping and sending you like angels or or experiences, even though they might not be the greatest. But I learned just to let it go and realize there's a reason why.
Yeah, there's no sense in dwelling in. No, you're just wasting your time.
Comadre.
Yes, comadre. What's going on?
Pues aquí seguimos. We need to talk about our sponsors.
I know. I've been so excited because
I know it's so fun. No, everything you're talking about, it's so amazing.
Yeah. So Jorge Salazar is going to be right back because we have a little bit more to share with you about the location we're sitting in, about a little bit more about his business and what he does, and how you can also partake in this amazing location. Because Christmas is around the corner. We have Hanukkah coming around the corner. We have all kinds of birthday celebrations, and we're all being able to come together with our family.
Reyes Magos too.
So Los Reyes Magos, that celebration, all of that's coming up. So after our sponsor shout out, we're going to come back with more of Jorge Salazar's story, who he is, what he's doing, and where we're sitting. So we'll be right back.
All right. Thank you to all our sponsors. Here they are. We're back.
All right.
Remember, if you want us to talk about your business, product, service, talk to la super comadre Claudia Macias about it. All right. I'll be back at the end of the show.
All right. Sounds good, super comadre. So we are back with Jorge Salazar, and we were just talking a little bit offline about, you never know, gifts come, people cross your path. God has an amazing way of just letting you know, like, hey, it's going to be all right, regardless of the ups and the downs and the challenges and the tears and all that. So, all right. So we're back because you have some more to share.
Yeah. So after I left the architecture field, I went to work for a construction company for a great boss, Mr. Chris Mailing. And I really grew there in the sense that I had the freedom to be the manager that I wanted to be in construction. And then after working for him for several years, I said, you know what, I can do this for myself. And so I branched off with their help. You talk about wonderful people and great people in this world. They allowed me to work for them and work on my building my business on the side at the same time.
Okay.
And so that really helped me establish myself in the construction field as a design builder. And so I started designing interiors commercially, and then eventually we branched into residential.
Okay.
And at our peak, we were the $3 to $5 million range. The company was big. We had about 70 workers working for us, directly hourly for us, and I had about 8 designers here in our office. And everything, it was just every year we would double in business. It was just, we were doing so good. And then COVID hit. And right before COVID, we started seeing a decline in business, but COVID was really the nail in the coffin. In 2019 in November, I had my last 2 employees, and sadly I had to let them go. They were great people, but I'm happy to report that all of them have moved on and done great, bigger things too. Good. And a lot of the things that I've taught them, they were sponges. They were just taking everything in. That's what I always told them, guys. Learn everything you can from me, because eventually you will hit a plateau with me. Yeah. And you need to go to the next step. And so all of them are doing really well. They're all working for bigger companies. It's amazing. Good. So COVID really hit, and I got really sick. On top of that, I was sick in March, and believe it or not, it took me down. I almost died.
Wow, that's scary.
It varies, especially when you have kids and your wife, and it's scary when you have loved ones. Love, it's just you're not able to see them. But for me, it was positive. It was a positive thing, because I'm a positive person. I don't like to see things from the dark side of the moon, per se. But
the silver lining. I love that. Is that what it is?
As my friend Zach says, remember, Jorge, every silver lining has a dark cloud.
Oh, wow.
But no.
Where else is the silver lining?
Yes. Growing up, I had a brother who passed away from muscular dystrophy when he was 16. He was, I was 14 at the time. And these words carried me through everything in my life. When I've been backed into a corner, when I feel like all the chips are down, when I feel like everything's coming down on me, these words propelled me into success. So imagine a young man who knows he's not going to live past 18 years old. That to carry that burden, to me, that killed me all my life. One day I said, Julio, don't you hate God because you're in a wheelchair and you're such a good person when other people who deserve to be in wheelchairs are not? And I was probably like 10 when I said this. And he says, Jorge, if I ever feel like that, you know what I do? I pray for those people in the world that at that moment have it worse than I do, because they need God, and I pray for them. And it's so true. And even in business, money comes and goes. I've had situations where we've lost money. And when I think of those words, it's only money. I always tell myself, one, no one died, no one's hurt. We're going to recover from this. This is nothing. We can look, as long as we don't make the same mistake twice, we should be fine.
There you go.
And so, those words have really really carried me through my life. And so when COVID hit, that was one of the things that I would think about. And so that killed our business. And so what people don't understand, being in the ICU unit for a little close to 2 months.
2 months.
When you get out, it took me 3 months to recover, be able to walk again. I had to carry this whole thing of oxygen with me everywhere I went.
So we're talking about half a year of trying to get back your health to where you were.
And I had contracts going on. I had, it was crazy. But again, I was fortunate that I had some clients that had said, Jorge, we'll wait for you.
Yeah.
Don't worry. We're going to wait for you. I lost some contracts, but at the end of the day, that made me not worry. It's something less to worry about. I wasn't stressed anymore about those things. And I was able to recover. So, God always puts those things in your life that are going to help you along. Como dice el dicho, Dios aprieta pero no ahorca.
No ahorca, exactly.
And so it really it helped me develop who I am, and now we've morphed coming into what we're doing now. We still own the division, Texas Division 9, a design build firm. We still have projects. I have a wonderful designer that works with me, Noe, and
shout out to Noe.
Yes, Noe Peña, great designer. Yes. I love the guy, wonderful person.
So who actually connected us to be here today.
And so it's things happen for a reason. And it's funny because I was out. I was like, Noe, I'm happy with the work I have now. I don't really want to take on anymore. I was like, well, you know how we talk a lot.
Yes. Next thing you know, here you are. What are we doing? Where are we going?
Next thing you know, he's got an office here. He's working with me. So now we're building up again. He's doing great. We're doing great. And while COVID hit, we had a showroom here in our office,
Yes.
which is full of products, carpet samples, towel samples, wood samples, you name it.
Yes.
And so our clients would come here, and we would, pick out finishes for their interiors and for what it was that we were building for them. And so with COVID hitting, everything was kind of shut down. So I said, you know what? Over the years, I've amassed a huge collection of toys. And so,
well, we're gonna take a little different turn here on this story. So we moved from designer, that, and now we're going off to where what this shirt has to do with this location. So I'm gonna read a little bit. It's called the Retro Exchange. So we're now going into the Retro Exchange and where we're sitting in right now.
Yes.
So while I take a sip from my cup that says Retro Exchange on it.
Thank you.
So
over the years, when I graduated college, I'm going to go back to when I was a kid. I was one of 4 kids, with a single mother. And she couldn't afford toys for us, But, God puts people in your path. We were fortunate that where we lived, we had a friend. My mom was really good friends with a family that lived down the street who had a son, Fernando. And he was a single child. He had a sister, but he was the only boy.
Only boy.
So he would get all the Transformers, all the G.I. Joes. And he was such a kind person that he would invite us over and we would all play with his toys. And so we didn't go without playing with toys. But, we still said, we wish we had them at home.
Yeah.
And so I've heard the stories of people, on Christmas Eve, I opened this up and I remember it takes me back to when I was 8, or my birthday, or this and that. Well, that wasn't us, but that still wasn't a sore spot with me. It was just, for me, it was like one of these days. One of these days I'll have it.
I like it. I'm going to write this down. One of these days.
Yes. And so when I graduated college, I started buying, things that brought me back from my past. That brought me to my past. And it's like, I wanted this when I was a kid. I wanted that. And then it kind of just snowballed into, I started buying collections. I would put ads in the paper and, people were like, oh, I'm selling this, I'm selling that. Then I was laid off from my architecture job in 2001. And I told my wife, I've always wanted to go to BotCon, which is a Transformer convention. In California or sometimes in Chicago.
BotCon.
Yes.
So it's kind of like along the lines of like the Comic-Con and you dress up, cosplay.
Yes. Except this is strictly Transformers.
Just Transformers.
I mean, the dealer tables requirement was that the dealer table had to be 85% Transformer related. Otherwise, don't show up.
I know.
And so you can imagine showing up to this convention and it's 500 dealers with every Transformer imaginable.
And you're there to shop. You're there to.
I remember I've been laid off.
Yes.
I have this huge collection of toys.
Oh, you got the collection. Yes. That's right.
And I said, you know what? Well, let me just go up there, sell my collection, make some money, let it pay for the trip, and I'll come back, and I'll have. She goes, well, do it.
Yeah.
So little did I know that one of the collections I bought was worth a lot of money. And so we went up there. My father and I, we had a little Ford Focus.
Oh my gosh.
And so it was me, my father, and my nephew. And
in a Ford Focus.
In a little Ford Focus. We filled it to the brim with everything that I had, and we drove up there 18 hours or whatever it was.
And you went up to Chicago.
And it was at O'Hare Airport. International Airport. And so we get there, and I had dealers by that point that were friends of mine. They're like, Jorge, just get a table. Tables are like, I think $750, but I didn't have the money. My father said, well, put it on my credit card. My father was with us at that time. And so we did that, and I got to tell you, it changed everything. The collection that we had was worth thousands. That one show, it's a 4-day show. We made a lot of money.
Nice.
I mean,
did you cover the table?
Yes.
And beyond.
And beyond.
Oh, so nice. There you go.
My wife and I used to talk about this. I would call her up and say, hey, guess what? In the lobby, I was selling parts, and guess how much I made? She's like, what, $100?
Oh my gosh.
No, the first night just in the lobby, I made $900.
Whoa.
And she's like, wow, that's great. So now you can pay for the hotel, the gas, and the table. And then the next day, which was Friday, was open for the early birds, which are the hardcore collectors. They pay, I think it's like $60 to get in.
To get in early.
And buy, before the general public gets in. Well, Friday I called my wife and I said, hey, guess how much we made tonight? I don't know, $2,000? I said, we made $12,000.
Oh my gosh.
And then I called it Saturday, and then Sunday. And yeah, it was. And then on Sunday, my father says, well, you know what you got to do now is you got to buy more tables.
You
got no more product. So I walked around, and this is the funny part.
Oh my gosh.
I went around, and I was just buying tables. Hey, how much you want for your table? How many?
Nice.
So
so you went in a Ford Focus, filled to the brim. How did you bring this back?
Well, so that's the funny part. So now.
Te compraste un carro right where you were at it. I'm going to go ahead and buy a truck.
We bought so much stuff. I remember I filled.
Did you leave your kid and your dad behind? How did you
No, I should have done that. Put him on a Graham or something.
Right.
But no, we filled the car again to even more.
Oh my gosh.
And we were giving away toys because
they
couldn't fit in the car. It's like, hey, who wants this? And at that point, people didn't want this, and we're leaving. We don't want that. So I remember we drove up to a Goodwill, and we just donated a bunch of stuff that we couldn't take with us.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And so that started a great thing because that not just funded my collection, but it also funded the family trip. And every year, the trip, it was once a year. They had the convention either in California, Chicago, New York, Rhode Island, and there was in Texas a couple of times. And so I would rent a 15-passenger van and tell my friends, whoever wants to go, all I request, everything's paid, but I just need you to help me on the show.
Load and unload.
And we need 2 weeks. So we take 2 weeks, 1 week to get there, sightsee.
Oh, nice. It's a whole trip.
Our country is beautiful. So I make it a point to take the scenic routes.
Yes.
So it's amazing. So we would do that, take a trip, a week to get there, do the convention, and then on the way back, just sightsee.
Now, is it always does it switch location, or is it always in Chicago? Or
the show ended in 2014 or 2016. I can't remember what year. But so we did it from 2001 through, as a dealer, through 2012, I believe.
Okay.
It was a good run.
It was. I mean, literally,
The funny part is, so people would come up to my table and say, hey, I got a box of this. He-Man, can you give me credit for it? Sure. And I'd box it up, bring it back home, or, Biker Mice from Mars, or I got, whatever toy line it was. And I'd give them credit, bring it back.
Yeah.
So 2 years ago, my wife said, get your stuff out of the attic. It's got to go, or we're going to have a garage sale.
Oh. I thought you were going to say it's either me or the stuff.
Well, I'm glad we didn't come to that.
No, I know. Because that would have been a hard call, right? Wink, wink. She would have been like, your stuff.
And the funny part, when I was in the hospital with COVID, we communicate, and she would say, "Hey, look, man, te me mueres, we have a garage sale, 25 cents, bolsa llena, $1, bolsa llena, $1."
Whatever you can take in the bag. Oh my, that was a good.
Yes.
That got you out of bed.
Yeah, well, I did.
That got you like, oh no, I'm getting better. I'm gonna be out of this place and
That's
back
right.
at it.
But so it wasn't until then I realized I have so much stuff, a ton of stuff.
How did you? Okay, so you have kids, you have a son, and a daughter. How do you let them play with this stuff? It's like don't touch it because this is like.
No. They're more. My son.
I know they're older now, but when they were younger.
Well, Ozzy would play with all of them.
Okay.
He used to go to conventions with me, and he would. It was funny. We went online and we were like, hey, I was like looking at old videos from the dealer room from BotCon, and I was like, maybe I'll find myself, and I did. So I sent the video, and I was like, hey, who can find Daddy?
Oh my gosh!
He responded back, Dad, I found myself too. So he's like 5 years old playing with Transformers.
How cute. I'm starting to think that I need to go into my parents' garage.
Yeah, I mean,
and I got a cousin who was an avid collector. Like in his bedroom, he built shelves around his bed.
Wow, there you go.
And on the top shelf, he had all his monitos that I had never played with. And I remember my brother, which my brother Eddie, we would go to my grandma's house because they lived with my grandma. And then my brother wanted to play with the stuff, and my cousin wouldn't let us play with anything. And I'm noticing that there's a Millennium Falcon behind your head. I remember my cousin having that, and we couldn't even breathe on it.
That's crazy.
He had the Godzilla. I see a Godzilla over there with the hand that would fly off, and I think he let us touch it maybe once. But yeah, I mean, walking in, and I want you to take us now into, because we are down to, we have about 10 minutes left. I want you to now take us, you did the run. You've amassed this amazing collection. Now I want you to take us into this location where we're sitting. This what's it called?
The Retro Exchange.
The Retro Exchange.
Yes.
How did this come? I mean,
well,
first of all, the name is amazing.
Yeah.
So how did this come to be? This is like your passion. I am now living we're now sitting inside your brain,
Yes.
coming to life.
This is my zen, what I call it. You
Your
know,
Zen Den.
that's right. We were brainstorming a few years back, and my nephew, we were throwing around, just coming up with creative words and whatnot, and I said like the toy exchange and whatnot. He's like, well, why don't you just call it the retro exchange?
Ooh.
And boom, it stuck. And
That's
then
cool.
a friend of mine, Anthony, we gotta have a catch, a phrase or whatnot. So he came up with, rebuy, resell, relive, because we do we buy your collections.
I love it. It's
You
on
can
it's on
rebuy
the
it,
shirt.
yes.
Rebuy,
And you can relive your
resell,
childhood with some of
and
these gems from the past,
yeah.
And so toys, we can get into the psychology of toys and what they mean to everybody. For me, it just takes me back to my childhood when I see some of these toys and, the pieces we have back
right here, like
you
these
know.
pieces that you just brought out to display. I mean,
this is a G1 Optimus Prime on the box.
Yeah.
You hardly find those out in the wild anymore, like we used to back 20 years ago. Even then, they were scarce. And like the Megatron 2, he's very unique toy because he was actually a gun. They don't make gun toys like that people can play with because he looks, there was reports in the past that people got shot because they thought it was a real gun.
Yeah.
So they banned them. And so this is a very, really rare toy, let alone to find in the box.
In the box. This is how I would visit this reminds me of visiting my cousins, stuff in the box. And my brother Eddie and I were just like, why don't you open up the package so we can play it?
Exactly.
I remember you're right, the relive part, the psychology of toys and all that, it just takes you back.
Yeah.
I mean, walking in, you have a Ghostbuster setup.
Yes, and the feature of the month, yes.
You took me on a trip, right? And the back where you have all of your pieces in alphabetical order. And
yes.
I mean, you just walking me there just took me back to my own childhood.
Yeah, and being a dealer at these conventions for so long, you get to meet a lot of people, hear a lot of stories.
Yeah.
And, it's amazing what toys mean to everybody.
Yeah.
And so for me, this is what I never had when I was a child.
I love it.
And to walk in, to me, it's just, I made it,
Yeah.
And now I'm ready to share this with everybody else. So the
Which
retro exchange,
you said earlier, one day, you said it, I wrote it down. You said one day. You're gonna have this one day. I remember hearing that one day, and this one day is now what we're sitting in. How where can people come to this place, the Retro Exchange, which I got a chance to. If you're watching, you get a chance to see me in my little red shirt, and I have the Christmas colors on because it is almost that time of the year where you need to come out to the Retro Exchange and do your Christmas shopping. So if people want to come do their Christmas shopping, how can they find you? Where do they go? And just share the different ways to contact you and how they can come out to this place to do their own Christmas shopping.
Well, we have two locations. This is our second location. This location is 7110 Santiago Street, Houston, Texas, 77023. We're in the Mason Park area. We are in a neighborhood setting. However, we are a commercial property here. So it's a big warehouse that is my office and then the VIP warehouse. Now, for those,
I love the VIP warehouse.
To be a VIP, you initially you either spend $1,000 with the shop or you follow us on Instagram for this week. Our store, this second store officially opens next week on Monday. And the perks of being a VIP is, as you saw, we have a bunch of action figures and merchandise that the general public doesn't have access to. And it's also going to have a lounge. We're going to have a guitar set up and drums, bass, and a PA system for singing. So if you play instruments, you can jam with us or come jam. And also we're planning on buying a pool table that people can use in arcades, a little bar setting, and a big screen, what's it called? Those projector screens.
Oh, projector screen.
VIPs, we can, host like a movie that just came out, or have like the Transformer night, or we can have a horror movie night, or whatever. And so VIPs can come in and hang out with like-minded people, and you're surrounded by toys. And just, be in that setting where, when you're at home and, you want to watch an Avengers movie, and everybody's like, dude, we've seen it, we're not into that.
I know, right?
So
well, you can come here.
That's right.
And go to the VIP lounge.
That's right, but you have to follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, so okay, there's a question. So tell people how they can find you on Instagram. And also there's a question about, do you have a website? And
our website is
share it right now.
www.theretroexchange.com, or on Instagram, the Retro Exchange is our tag, and on Facebook we're also the Retro Exchange. And so you'll see the same logo. It's an 80s style logo that says the Retro Exchange on all of the all of our multimedia.
Okay.
So if you have any questions, you can also reach out to us.
Yes.
So we welcome everybody. We have a lot of stuff here for you guys to just come out here and enjoy it. Bring the kids, bring your family, and then at Pearland and Cole's Flea Market, I think we also have a second location.
Oh, there's a website right there. Oh, there's the Facebook page. So those of you that are listening, we just heard that where, what, when. The Retro Exchange is where you need to go and look it up for the website, and the Retro Exchange on Instagram as well as Facebook, right?
Right.
And we're here, and the significance of this area. I want you to touch base a little bit about Magnolia.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of the oldest neighborhoods established here in Houston, and you have come back.
Yes, I mean, Magnolia Park is where it all started. You know, when our the Mexican immigrants would come to Houston, we all gravitated to this area. In Magnolia Park.
Yeah.
And so they'd known this area as Magnolia.
Magnolia. I remember growing up hearing that, Magnolia.
I was like, and I remember growing up, it's like Magnolia, but we have Magnolia, Texas.
Right. I know. Texas. People get confused. Well, you're going where? To Magnolia, Texas? No, Magnolia Park.
And so I was
Magnolia.
like, oh, okay, that's great. So,
right here on the phone. Let me show you the map.
Yes. And so, back then, this was not what it is now. I don't know if you remember, but there was bars everywhere.
Cantinas.
It was terrible. There was chinchas. Remember chinchas?
I don't remember chinchas, but
that's what it was called, and it was just bad. And but to see it kind of like transform into what it is today, it was interesting. Leaving to college and coming back, it's like,
what happened?
It's like I've only been gone so long.
Right.
It's
all of a sudden there's sidewalks.
Yeah.
There's a semáforo.
But yeah, the significance of this, you can come down to this neighborhood and really see the Latino how we've embraced this area, and we've kind of overcame a lot of things that were here before. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, there was a lot of there was still kind of racism, out in the open in the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
But now
Moody Park, we had the young police officer that was wrongfully, accused, and so.
But I really enjoy this side of town because it is home.
Yeah.
I've lived in LA, Los Angeles, and in New York, but there's no place like home like Dorothy said.
Exactly. So. No place like home. And I'm sorry, I meant the Moody Park riots, which resulted in, I believe it was a serviceman, no?
I think so.
It was a serviceman that the police had gone. I think it was a serviceman. I gotta look into that. Maybe no, it wasn't Garcia. I gotta look into that.
Yeah.
So we'll come back with that information. But yeah, the Moody Park riots. There's been a lot of things that the Mexican American immigrants have experienced, but this was a beacon of hope for many. Yeah. We had I think the Veterans of Foreign Wars, or the American Legion Hall, the little blue hall that's around here. That was a place where a lot of people would come together to get either support or kind of like guide them in the direction of, where can I get this? How can I get that? Not that they're looking for a handout or anything, but just kind of like some support on how can I support myself, my family, and continue moving forward. And you left and you come back, and now we're sitting in the Retro Exchange in the middle of what is your passion. I want to say it's your passion.
Yeah.
And you're bringing your passion to life.
That's right.
So, what are the hours if somebody wants to come like tomorrow, this weekend? What does it look like for the hours for these two locations?
It's Monday through Friday for now, 10 to 7. And hopefully once we gain more momentum, we'll be open 7 days a week. Nice. The second store in Pearland, Cole's Flea Market, is open from Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 5.
Okay. Saturday and Sunday in Pearland.
Yes.
Monday through Friday here on Santiago.
That's correct.
Nice. So I'm super excited to come back.
Yes.
And experience a movie night.
Yes.
I myself am a Ghostbusters fan.
Well, it's coming the
I'm
17th.
I'm a Star Wars fan. Do you carry that too?
Yes,
of course.
we do.
You got the Millennium Falcon. I see what's his name? Darth Vader back there. I brought my friend behind me who's what's his official name? Gruber?
What is his name?
Grogu.
Grogu. I call him Baby Yoda.
And by the way, I want to introduce the manager
yes!
to the retro exchange.
Come on
Zach,
down.
over.
Come on down, Zach.
So let me let him sit here for a minute.
Come. You're gonna take the chair, Zach. So you're gonna. I just want to just ask you a few questions. So welcome to my show, La Super Comadre. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you. And yourself?
I'm doing excellent. So I was just sharing, as you heard, right? I was sharing a little bit about my little friend back there, who's ready for Christmas, and his official name is Grogu, but I call him Baby Yoda because we all call him Baby Yoda.
I think the entire
world does, right? But he's ready for Christmas, and he came to hang out with me during the show, and I'm just super excited to share to the world what your role is. Who are you? How did you end up connecting with Jorge?
My name is Zach. I'm originally from Florida. I met Jorge back in BotCon 2006. It was the first year that I was ever able to go to a convention. Me and my family met him coming into the hotel. We were very lost as the hotel was very labyrinthine in style. And we couldn't figure out which side was up, down, reverse, and forward. We ran into him, and he kindly guided us to where we needed to go at the moment. And along the way, we were introducing ourselves. He introduced himself, and I had commented, I can't wait to meet all the special guests. He's like, would you like to meet him now? What do you mean, meet him now?
Wow.
Well, I've got Don Figueroa and Simon Furman both in my room right now.
No.
And one being an amazing artist, the other the main comic book writer for the series. And of course, I said yes. So he brought me to his room. He introduced me to them, and I got their autographs, and it was an amazing time. And the friendliness that he showed, along with the show itself and everyone else, kept me and my family going back to the convention for multiple years. Eventually, he told me about all of this.
Nice.
And my dream for a long time had been to run my own toy store, as I'd worked for Toys R Us a long time, and I wasn't quite happy with how they ran their shop. So when this opportunity was presented to me through courtesy of him, he gave me the chance to fulfill my own dream. Hence, I traveled here, and I'm going to join in as hopefully the general store manager.
Nice. So, Jorge has a legacy. All the people that have crossed his path have moved on to do their thing and be successful at it. So you're already on the right path.
I certainly hope so.
Yes, by you crossing paths with Jorge, and now you're here all the way from Florida, now in Houston. I just want to say welcome to Houston.
Thank you.
And I'm excited to see the growth. I'm excited to see all the work that you're going to bring in, your passion. Because you have your passion, he has his, and now you're putting it together. And this, I just cannot wait to come back and enjoy a movie night or Ghostbusters night or Star Wars. I'm going to bring my little friend, Baby Yoda, and we're just going to chill.
I have high hopes and dreams for this place.
Yes.
I'd like to see us replace Toys R Us at some point in the future.
I like that. And I'm going to be here to enjoy and go along with you guys on this roller coaster ride. All right. So tell us a little bit as we're closing out, if what are some words you want to tell like kids or the kid at heart about this location?
Cartoons and stories are a pathway to dreams. Find the one that inspires you and follow it, and maybe you'll achieve the goals that you'd like to, much as Jorge has with this store.
Yeah. All right. So come on out to the Retro Exchange. Don't forget to go to their website, theretroexchange.com. Don't forget to follow them on Instagram. Don't forget to visit them on Facebook. And I just want to close out a little bit. So thank you so much for coming, Zach, and sharing who you are. And now you can come and meet Zach. He's going to be running stuff here and continuing to grow and develop this amazing place here at the Retro Exchange. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm going to bring back Jorge, and while they're exchanging seats, I just want to remind you, I wear several hats. So one of my other hats is the NHPO social media chair and media chair. And we have an amazing event coming up December the 9th here in Houston. If you're in Houston and if you'd like to come out and network and connect, I also want to invite you, Jorge, to come on out. And we're looking for people to sponsor some gifts, to bring some gifts. If you need to do your gift shopping, to donate, you can come here. Come on over here. We're going to be at the ballroom at Bayou Place from 6:30 to 9:30 on December the 9th. That is a Thursday. And just bring an unwrapped gift. And we're going to stuff a Ford truck. Ford is one of our sponsors. They're going to come out and bring a huge truck, park it out in the front. And all the toys that are coming, we're going to stuff that truck. And we're going to deliver all those toys to the Legacy Community Health Centers. All the children that are part of the Community Health Centers with Legacy are going to have access to these toys and making sure that they have an amazing Christmas. And yeah, I always like that comment or that quote, too much is given, much is expected. And if you're out there and you're able to and you can, please join us. It's networking with a toy drive twist. And we're always inviting, businesses, profits, and we also have nonprofits come out as well. We'll have entertainment, we'll have light bites. Bring your business cards, bring that unwrapped toy, and we're just gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a good time connecting, coming together again, because it's been a while. We're slowly coming together in groups. And I love this location because it's outdoor, indoor. It's got an outdoor patio, so you still can have the open doors. We still follow the COVID guidelines. We keep ourselves not all on top of each other. You can wear your mask if you want. If you're, we'll have hand sanitizer on there as well. And we also have N Crowd. N as in new. Crowd is a digital RSVP place where we're going to put that invite out there. And on InCrowd, you can connect with people without having to use a paper business card, because the business card is actually on InCrowd. And it's your information, and all you do is just like wave y'all's QR codes with each other, and you're going to connect with the people there. If you forget who you talk to, you can always go back to the InCrowd app and go back to our event and say, oh my gosh, I remember being there on December 9th. I met this guy. He had this retro exchange plays. What was his name? Blah, blah, blah. You can go back to the InCrowd, find him, and connect with him again. So InCrowd is one of our paperless business card, I guess, apps that we are always using to make sure that you know what's going on here in Houston. You get a chance to meet the people before you even go to the events. And then after the events, you can go back and recap and remember who it is that you connected with. So, Super Comadre Liliana, we are now at the end. I had so much. Super Comadre.
So fast.
I know. Well, final words from you, Super Comadre.
Well, thank you to N Crowd for also being part of our sponsors. And of course, our newest, which is Salud y Figura Fácil with Maritza Tortello. And here's their information. And remember to visit our website and also visit our Facebook, YouTube, all Twitter and everything. We're live right now on RadioCrystalUSA.com. We're also live on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages simultaneously, and also 2 YouTube channels and Twitter. So we're trying to be live on Instagram soon. Instagram doesn't let anyone do it yet, but soon we'll be able to do it. So thank you so much to all our sponsors. Let me mention Aroma Mexican Artisan Kitchen. Thank you, San Miguel Event Hall. Awesome Made Services in Katy, Texas. Thank you. BAMSA Global in Houston, Texas. Patron Grill. And Alma Latina in Porter, Texas. Thank you so much. And of course, Chris Pignon, who was also making a lot of comments. He was part of. Let me see. He was here. Look at what he was.
The website.
He said, "What do Ghostbusters and Caddyshack have in common?"
They have the same director.
Do they have the same director, Zach?
Zach.
Ghostbusters
what is the connection?
Here's the answer.
Bill Murray, the actor.
He wrote the answer.
Oh, he wrote the answer? What's the answer?
Says one of the Ghostbusters, Harold Ramis,
wrote
Ghostbusters and wrote and directed Caddyshack.
Well, there's a lot of things, yeah.
And the actor.
Yes.
And the actors were the same in the movie.
Yep. And
Yes.
Dan Aykroyd was
They were also both together in Stripes.
in Stripes. You're right.
Who do the Ghostbusters and Caddyshack? Okay, all right. So, oh my gosh, I love it.
I love it.
We're
It
gonna-
turned into trivia.
You're gonna have
We're gonna
trivia
have
night.
trivia night.
Trivia
Yes.
night here at Retro
That's
Exchange.
right.
I
love
would love
it.
to be here. I'm gonna be in
Love
the
it.
back like this.
And
with
I want
you
to
here.
mention really briefly that we will be donating a bunch of gifts to you guys too. So
Oh my gosh.
so
Woo!
we have
Thank you.
so we want to participate and so we'll be in
Thank
touch.
you. Oh my gosh. So you heard it here. We have one of our first toy sponsors. We're gonna be coming out on December the 9th. I'm truly appreciative so
No,
much
thank you
on
for
behalf
having
of
us. I
HPM.
appreciate it.
Yes, yes. All right. So follow us, like
Thank
us, share us, and see you here. Come on out to Retro Exchange, do your shopping.
Remember, we open next week, Monday, officially.
Woo!
So
Monday
hope
through
to see you.
Friday, 10 to 7, right?
Yes.
So you take cash, credit, Apple Pay,
Everything.
whatever, all
We
that.
also take trades. So I always tell people, bring the toys you don't want.
Oh,
Whether they're retro or new or old, we can give you credit for those toys towards
Okay.
something else that you would like.
nice. I got strawberry shortcake.
There you go. That's very popular.
I got Cabbage Patch stuff.
You might have some,
Mm-hmm. I
some
got
nice
a bar.
change.
I know my son, my daughter, and some friends are gonna be so happy to be there.
Yes, and don't forget, December 9th, we'll see you at the NHPO, the National Hispanic Professional Organization. Stuff the truck with toy gifts from 6:30 to 9 downtown. So, man, we have a lot of things coming up, and I'm so glad to be here. I'm so glad to be sharing with you, the listening and viewing audience, my new super compadre, Jorge Salazar, talking about Retro Exchange, talking about his passion of toys and how we're literally sitting inside his passion come to life. So, with that, adios, cuídense, y llámense, and we'll see you next time.
Hasta luego.
We'll see you next
Foto, foto.
time.
Take a picture, comadre.
Ahí va.
Hold on, me grab. Hold on. Hi.
Oh.
Hi. Grab the Transformers.
No, I was- I
grab
didn't
the Transformer.
I didn't want Grogu to fall.
Okay, you grab that, and I grab him. Ready? Cheese.
I don't have anywhere here. And let me see.
You
Yeah.
I
1, 2,
Wait.
3.
You got
1, 2, 3. Got it.
Green grass.
All right, got it. Bye bye.
Mwah, and that's a wrap. Bye.